Welcome to Bottom Line Sports Talk. I'm George Abraham. You know my partner Albert Cameron. We have a very special guest today, YSU football coach Coach Wolford. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for having us over. The hospitality. Anytime we're ever at YSU, we always go back in the car and say, wow, they really know how to treat somebody. We saw your facility. That indoor facility is mind-blowing.
It's a first-class place. You know, they've done a great job with it, and there's obviously a lot of people that have been a big part of that thing. And you know, it's a great recruiting tool for us. It's great for our community. It's great for all sports,
yes.
And you know, we're proud to have it.
You know, that leads right into my first thought, Coach. That facility goes right in with the physical conditioning that leads into football season. All the fans here are going to be sitting here think they're going to say, "Man, this YSU team looks different." Coach, tell us how your training went in the off season.
Well, the thing I saw is day one of spring ball. You know, we looked like a better football team because we were able to train on the turf. In the past, I'd been up there on the basketball courts at 6 a.m. doing change of direction, line drills, and those type of things. And then when you get all sweaty, you slip and fall. I had some guys get hurt the past 2 years prior to having that facility. But day one of spring ball, everyone that came out to practice said, "Hey, you look like you guys are in mid-season form," because the guys can go in there and throw, they can train, they can do all their winter conditioning drills there. So it's a tremendous asset. Northern Iowa's had one for years.
Yes.
North Dakota's had one for years. And I think that's given them an advantage in the offseason.
Well, you have come such a long way in just a 3-year span. You were talking before we even came on, you think your team even looks different.
Well, you know, I've had the fortune of coaching a lot of places.
Right.
And, you know, we may not have as much depth as some of the big schools I've been to, but our frontline guys, we have an opportunity to match up really with anyone. We just got to continue to develop our depth.
Well, we know that, Coach, you have the talent and the work ethic, and those are all things coaches talk about all the time. You know what I see when you walked out here today? I saw a confidence that looks like you developed some trust, big-time trust with your kids. Tell me about a little bit of the intangibles of your team, Coach, that you can recognize right now, too, that might be a little different.
Well, at the end of spring ball, for the first time, I felt comfortable as a coach electing player representatives. And each position has a guy that's voted on by his peers.
Ooh, that's interesting.
And that gentleman became the coach over the course of the summer because, you know, we have all these NCAA rules that I can't be around my players in the summer at all. So that player representative took the place of the position coach, and for the first time I felt like we had potentially 1 or 2 guys at every position that were legitimate guys that could lead a position group. So that's taken place. I feel like our team chemistry is better than ever, and this is a hungry football team.
Oh, yes.
I mean, we did not end last year the way we wanted to, and that's the way the cards fell. You know, we're going to move on, but we're a hungry football team.
You haven't forgotten it.
No, we're not going to forget. We're not going to forget.
I told Trevor before he came on, you could take that 1 or 2 ways, and I like the way you're developing it. Let's take that loss and make it a positive. Let's build on that and say, hey, we were that close, but at YSU, close isn't good enough, Coach. Tell me what your thoughts are right now to having that successful season with the kids.
I think the first key component will be obviously for us to stay healthy. It's well documented that we have a bunch of returning players that are good football players, but individual players don't make a team. The best team wins. We've got to be a team. That means offense, you score 1 more point than the defense gives up. Defense, you hold them to 1 less. And with our increased depth on defense, because through recruiting and development of players, I feel like we'll have much more depth on defense to play better during the course of 4 quarters and play better on special teams.
Now, is it in 3rd year compared to 1st year, you're trying to take the defense up a notch or 2? Is it something that you thought just happened through bringing better people in, or was it an attitudinal thing, or both?
There was a transition that had to take place.
Okay.
When I took this job, I knew the expectations.
Right.
You know, and this is home for me. And, you know, I wanted to do it the right way. I wanted to put us in a position to sustain success. And that means you got to have a strong foundation. You know, my first year, I probably could have let some things slide. I probably could have kept a few guys around that maybe missed a meeting or weren't doing things correctly. But, you know, I was going to set a standard here. And the standard here is excellence. The standard here is winning. The standard here is doing things the right way. And we had to establish that. So, yes, it may have taken a little bit longer, The one thing I can say is every football game we've played in since I've been here, we've been competitive. We've been there to the wire. It doesn't matter if we play Michigan State. It doesn't matter if we play North Dakota State. It doesn't matter who we play. We're going to come out and we're going to play you. I feel like we're finally in position now to take the next step of going deep.
I'm sorry.
Well, you will, because you just mentioned two things that I believe do it. You already have players in place, and I know you have great coaches plus some new coaches that come in and change some things. You said team and excellence. They go together.
That's right.
Individual does not go with excellence.
No.
And it looks like you have made that point, because you have some stars. Let's not joke. But they have to understand the offensive line makes you that.
That's right.
It is called a team. That's why YSU, I think, has the right coach. You just said it. Team.
And defense is the key. Would you say if an outsider was looking at your team and said, what one thing do we need to kick up a notch if we're going to? I mean, they have you walking with the big boys. Phil Still has you winning the league, and he's accurate most of the time.
He is. That's the best thing.
We like him, and he picks you to win. Now our question is, will there be more of a concentration? Was there off season on the defense, or is it just something that the average layman would know, but there's more to it as far as you're concerned?
Well, I think you have to start with Joe Tracy out of Warren, Ohio.
Okay.
I had an opportunity to snatch him up, bring him back home. He wanted to be here. I want people that want to be here, whether it's recruiting or coaches. This is a special place, and you either embrace it or you don't. If you don't like it, leave. This is a great place. This is a great community. Just ignore the negatives that are out there, but this is a great place of great people. Joe Tracy wanted to be here. I hired him because I know that he's a good defensive coordinator, and he's going to hold players accountable. We are going to be accountable every time we step on this field. If not, he's going to be all over. And I needed a little bit of that. As a head coach, yes, you oversee it all. But, if you have primarily an offensive background, I spent the majority of my time, my first 2 years, here on offense. That's my trade. That's and I think it looks bad as a head coach if you take over a program and the head coach, the side of the ball that he coaches isn't very good. Then I think you'd be alarmed. You'd have big time concerns. So I wanted to make sure that we could establish a run game. We could establish a good offense. I expected some things to get done on defense. They didn't get done. I had to make a change. That's part of this. That's part of what you do. If things don't work out, you make a change. We hired the right guy. We're playing much better on defense. I think we're still scratching the surface, but I see us competing every day, working hard, rising up to the challenge, and that's a big part of this game.